On her very first day in the family, the daughter-in-law laid down her own rules. She set boundaries for her mother-in-law right away. She said she was someone who valued clear personal boundaries. So after the wedding, she wouldn't call them mom or dad. She would only address them as uncle and aunt. All those messy, distant relatives in the family. She didn't want to meet any of them. Because, in her view, those relatives were essentially strangers to her. Especially the husband's older aunt, who pulled her by the arm the moment they met, which made her extremely uncomfortable. So if possible, she never wanted to see those relatives again. Ideally, they'd stay out of each other's lives forever. Faced with such blatant disrespect from her daughter-in-law, the relatives were furious, but the woman agreed without a moment's hesitation. Just when her son and daughter-in-law thought they had her cornered, the woman suddenly stopped the two of them. She said that to respect her daughter-in-law's boundaries, she had come up with a few rules of her own. Since the daughter-in-law insisted that relatives were strangers, then she obviously shouldn't accept money from those strangers. Especially from the older aunt who had crossed the line earlier. She had secretly slipped her a $100,000 red envelope, and since the daughter-in-law cared so much about boundaries, she should surely return the money. After saying that, the woman snatched the gift money from her son and handed it back to the relatives. Then she announced publicly that starting today, the son and daughter-in-law should move out. Because she and her husband might unintentionally cross boundaries, and who knew when they might violate her sense of space again. From now on, they shouldn't even eat meals together. After all, sharing food with so many people was just far too boundaryless. Her words left the son and daughter-in-law completely stunned. They never imagined that the woman standing before them had been reborn. In her previous life, her husband suddenly suffered a heart attack and needed urgent help. With no other choice, she called her son for assistance. But he complained that she had no boundaries, and that she was disturbing the young couple's life. Before she could explain, he hung up the phone. By the time she struggled to get her husband to the hospital, he had already missed the golden window for treatment. The devastated woman kept vigil beside her husband in the hospital all night. It wasn't until the next morning that her son finally called. He demanded to know why his father hadn't come to pick up his child for school. Through tears, the woman told her son that his father had passed away. But the son's first reaction was, "Then who's going to pick up my kid now that dad's dead?" Hearing her son complain, the woman collapsed on the spot, overwhelmed with grief. She never imagined that after 30 years of sacrifice, she had raised such an ungrateful son. When she opened her eyes again, she had returned to the day her son brought his bride home. Thinking of the tragic fate of her previous life, she resolved to teach her daughter-in-law properly this time what real boundaries meant. And that led to the scene at the very beginning. Faced with the daughter-in-law's unreasonable demands, the woman fought fire with fire. Under the name of maintaining boundaries, she seized the opportunity to kick the couple out of the house.